Hey class, in this video we are going to discuss some applications of the special acupoints. After studying the meridians and acupoints, we understand that some acupoints they belong to different categories. Although they belong to the meridians, they also fall in different categories, such as the 5 Su points, the back Su points, the front Mu points, and the C clef points, etc. So how do we apply these different categories in your treatments? We're going to study in this video. The first category, the 5 transport points, or the 5 Su points. These 5 points on each meridian, most of them locate below the elbows or the knees, because they belong to different categories of the 5 elements. So we can apply the 5 element theory on these points. Firstly, we need to divide these points into yin meridians and yang meridians. The 5 Su points, Jing well points, Xing spring points, Su stream points, Jing river points, He sea points. The first one is the Mandarin. The second is just the explanation in English to help you to understand what are the meanings of these 5 words. Jing, Xing, Su, Jing, He. These 5 words. This is very similar to the water in nature or the river from the well, and when the water gathers together becomes spring. The water coming out from the ground becomes a spring, and when they gather together becomes a stream, and then the river, and eventually flow to the sea. So that's where the qi and blood come from, originally from the Jing well point. The 5 elements of the yin meridian. Firstly, we always need to remember the order: Jing, Xing, Su, Jing, He, or the well, spring, stream, river, and sea. So firstly, we need to memorize the order. They are in this order. And then the other order we need to remember, actually we already remembered, is from the 5 elements. The wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. These 5 elements, they're also in one order. This order is the generating order. The Jing well point is in the category of wood. So this theory was explained in Nanjing. The yin meridian, the Jing well point of the yin meridian is the wood. The Jing well point of the yang meridian is the metal. Yang meridian is the metal. But when you see it start from the metal, the order is still the same. It's still the wood, the fire, the earth, and then the metal and water. So if you start with the metal, water, wood, fire, and earth. So how to memorize these categories? All what you need to memorize is the yin meridian starts with the wood. The yang meridian starts with the metal. Once you locate the wood in Jing, the wood, fire, earth, water, and metal. And then once you locate the first one, Jing well points of the yang meridian, is the metal. So that's the metal. Once you locate the metal, you're going to follow the metal, the water, the wood, the fire, the earth. So that's the first order you need to memorize. And then you can always keep this table in your practice. The yang meridian, these are the Jing well points of different meridians. Water points of the yang meridians. If you can memorize these points, even better. So you may be asked in your test, what's the which point is the Xing spleen point of the small intestine? What's the point of the stomach, the Su string point of the stomach? There's no shortcut to memorize. All what you need to do is just memorizing. So you need to put some put some efforts on this table. You need to memorize them. Another tip that you can use is in memorizing the order as well. Large intestine 1, 2, 3, 5, 11. So memorize the number 1, 2, 3, 5, 11. For triple and gyra, the 三焦 meridian, 三焦 T 1, 2, 3, 6, 10. So you actually can find some laws or rules of these points 1, 2, 3, and then the Jing and C. Jing river and the C points may be different, 5 or 11, 6 or 10, but from the stomach, it will be the other order, 41, 45, 44, 43, 41, and 36. So these you need to memorize. It will be easier. You're going to memorize the one meridian by one meridian. So you memorize in this order, don't memorize in this order. So don't memorize the large intestine Jingwell points, the 三焦 Jingwell points, small intestine Jingwell points. You're going to mix. You're going to put everything together. So try to memorize each meridian. Some are 45, 44, 43, 41, 36. 44, 43, 41, 38, 34 for gallbladder. So once you repeat quite a few times, you can memorize. During your test or during your practice, you can always, if you don't remember the exact number or the points, you can always write down this order in your paper, and then you will choose. For example, if you remember GB44 is the Jingwell points, 43, 41, 38, 34. And then once you remember all these points, you can always write down, and then you will know that this Jing points, this water points, this Su points, this Jing points, this He Si points, and then you can apply these points in your treatments. Okay, so that's how to memorize these two tables. In 黄帝内经, it describes that the Su string points are mostly used for the problems of Zang organs, while the He Si points are mainly used for the problems of Fu organs. So now from this clause, you will know that for Su string points, you can use for Zang organs. For the He Si points, you can use for Fu organs. When we introduce the yuan source points and raw points, you also will realize that in some of these 5 elements, some of these 5 points, the Su string points actually same as the yuan source points. That's why they can use for Zang organs. The Su string points, some of the Su string points are the same points of the yuan source points of the meridian. In another text, still in the classic, the Xing spleen points and Su string points are used for problems of Zang organs, while the Xing spleen points and Su string points are used for the problems of Fu organs. As you can see here, these two sentences are quite similar. We all talk about the Xing spleen points and the Su string points, both of them. But the first clause, it says the Xing and Su points can be used for Zang organs, while right afterwards, it described that the Xing and Su string points can be used for Fu organs. The same points, why it emphasizes that it can be used for Zang organs, it can be used for organs. That's because of the meridian. The Xing and Su string points of yin meridians can be used for Zang organs. The Xing and Su points of the yang meridians can be used for the Fu organs. Another clause in Nanjing, it described that the Jingwei points are used for fullness below the heart. The Xing spleen points are used for the hot sensation of the body. The Su string points are used for body heaviness and joints pain. The Jing river points are used for tachycardia, coughing, coldness, and heat. The He Si points are used for the counterflow of qi. Firstly, here, from this clause, the fullness below the heart, Jingwei points. Where is the location below the heart? Below the heart is the stomach, the upper abdomen. So the fullness of the stomach, the fullness of the upper abdomen, we can use Jingwei points. The Xing spleen points are used for hot sensation. What's the hot sensation? This indicates any kind of heat, no matter deficiency heat or excess heat. That's why we can use the level 2. Stomach, it's not stomach 2, 立对, the second last of the Xing spleen points to relieve the heat. The Su string points are used for body heaviness and joint pains. Jing for tachycardia. Jing for tachycardia, coughing, coldness, and heat. These two, the first character and the fourth character, both spell like J-I-N-G. Okay, but in Mandarin they got different tones. These two are two different words. Jing, the first one, the third tone. The fourth one is Jing. Okay. So after your Mandarin study, the course from UJCI, you will understand different tones. The first Jing well points and the Jing river points can be used for tachycardia, the difficulty breathing, cough. The C points can be used for counterflow of qi. The counterflow of qi, the patient also may present as coughing, tachycardia, nausea, vomiting. So when you will see that some functions of the large intestine. There are many two types of applications of the 5 Su points, especially from the reinforcing and reducing techniques. For reinforcing and reducing, we can use the manipulation technique to reinforce or to reduce. However, we also can choose the categories of the points. We can use the points that can tonify, can reinforce the meridian, or can help to reduce the meridian. How to reinforce and how to reduce, that's something we discussed in the basic theory from the 5 elements, the mother and the son. If I want to tonify, I'm going to help the mother. If I want to reduce, I'm going to reduce the son. So for this category, the application, you always need to memorize mother elements and the son elements. Okay, once you memorize the mother elements and son elements, then we can go further, another step, the mother meridian of the mother elements, the son meridian of the son element. Okay, so that's the only 2 clauses you need to memorize. I didn't write on the slides. You need to take your own notes. The mother elements and the sun elements. The second, the mother meridian of the mother element, the sun meridian of the sun elements. So that's what we said here. The mother and sun elements on the same meridian. Mother and the sun elements on different meridians. We're going to go through the table. Now we're going to use some examples to explain what does it mean by the same meridian. When we talk about this on the same meridian, we talk about the mother meridian. We talk about the mother element and sun element, the mother points and the sun points. For example, a patient suffers from the lungs problem. The lung is the metal. From the 5 elements, the elements, the mother element of the metal. The earth can generate the metal. So the earth is the mother of the metal of the earth is the mother of the metal. So you're going to draw on a paper, on a piece of paper, wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Okay, you're going to draw a picture of this generating wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. When you see the lung is the metal, so you want to find the mother elements, that's the earth. On the same meridian, so I'm going to find on the lung meridian which point is the earth point, lung 9. So I'm going to use the lung 9 to tonify the lung deficiency. If this patient got excess syndrome, the excess syndrome of the lung, such as the coughing a lot of phlegm, excess syndrome, very loud coughing noise. The lung 9 I can use for deficiency. The lung deficiency, with the patient may suffer from coughing, short of breath, but the coughing is very weak, very low voice. And you can feel the patient also weak. So we want to tonify. We can use the lung 9 to tonify. When we use the lung 9 to tonify, we can use reinforcing technique. We also, in the meantime, can use Moxibustion. When a patient suffers from the deficiency, from the excess syndrome, we're going to reduce the sun elements. What's the sun elements? Again, the metal meridian, the metal elements, the sun is the water. So I'm going to try to find the sun element. That's lung 5. That's the water element. So I can use reducing technique on lung 5 for lung excess syndrome. This is one of the example of the same meridian. The second example, the stomach. Patient suffer from stomach problem. Stomach is the earth. Okay, the patient suffer from the earth. Now I'm going to focus on either the fire or the metal. The mother element, the fire, stomach 41. The sun element, stomach 45. If you don't remember these, go back to the previous slides. Refer back to the table, and then you will find these points. For stomach deficiency, we're going to reinforce 41. For excess syndrome, we're going to reduce 45. The same technique, we can use different reinforcing or reducing manipulation techniques. You also can use a combination of acupuncture or Moxibustion. The liver is the wood. When we see the wood, I'm going to focus on the fire or the water. Okay. For this situation, I always focus on the same meridian. A patient suffers from the root problem. I'm focused on the liver meridian. I'm going to focus on the water and the fire. For excess, I'm going to reduce the sun, level 2. For deficiency, I'm going to reinforce the mother, level 8. So that's the application of the same on the same meridian. On the same meridian, how to choose these points? All what you need to remember is the mother element and sun element. Always think about the mother elements and sun elements of the organ. The liver is the wood, the mother and sun of the wood. On the liver meridian, the stomach is the earth, the mother and the sun of the earth on the stomach meridian. So that's one of the application on the same meridian. The second is on a different meridian. On different meridian, that's what we said previously, the mother meridian and mother points, the sun meridian and sun points, or sun elements. What does it mean? Similarly, the lung problem, that's the metal. The metal, we're going to draw again the wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. So that's flow. The lung is the metal. The metal, I want the lung deficiency, the mother meridian, mother element. The mother is the earth. Okay. The mother is the earth. The earth, I need to find the earth meridian. Which meridian is the earth? The spleen. The mother points on the mother meridian, the earth. I'm going to find the earth points of the spleen meridian, the earth points of the spleen meridian, spleen 3. So for this situation, I'm going to choose spleen 3. I'm still going to use reinforcing technique. So for this situation, I can use the spleen, the earth, to generate or to assist the lung. That's also from the theory. We tonify the earth because the earth can generate the metal. For the lung excess syndrome, you're going to use reducing technique. Excess syndrome, I'm going to reduce the sum. When I reduce the sum, I'm going to think about the sun meridian and the sun elements. The lung is the metal. The sun is the water. It's the water. The water, I'm going to find the water meridian and the water acupoints. The water meridian is the kidney. Why the spleen? Why kidney? That's also from the 5 elements. The kidney is the water. So I'm going to find the points on the kidney. I'm going to find the water points of the kidney meridian, kidney 10. So for the lung excess syndrome, I can use kidney 10. Apart from the points, lung 5 or lung 11, I also can use kidney 10. Kidney 10 reducing technique for the lung excess syndrome of the lung. From this point of view, you will see that's our application for the lungs problem. We're going to focus on the lung. We can focus on the spleen. We can focus on the kidney. When we said the spleen and kidney and the lung, do you ring any bells in your memory? Previously, when we talk about the tachypnea or difficulty breathing, we said that you can treat from the spleen, especially in the stable stage. You want to strengthen the qi of the antipathogenic qi of the body. We also can focus on the kidney. Apart from the lung, we also can focus on the kidney. Why we can focus on the kidney? Now we explain from the from the 5 elements. Think about the characteristics, the functions of the kidney. One of the functions is receiving the qi. We said that in order to have a deep breathing, you need a receiving function from the kidney. Otherwise, the patient will present as shallow breathing. Okay. So that's why our treatment focus on the kidney. From the function of the kidney, you can focus on the kidney. From the 5 elements, you also leads you to the kidney, and more specifically, it helps you to identify which points, because so many points on the kidney meridians, which point is better, or which point may be better, which is your first choices. Kidney 10, spleen 3. So these also can be explained from the Zangfu theory. This application is quite comprehensive and complicated, so I'm glad that we are online. These explanations and applications are recorded. So when you watch this video, pause in each session, pause in a few minutes and think again. Write a drawing of the 5 elements on a piece of paper and think about the explanations, and also you can use the other meridian or the other organs as an example and try to see if you can explain, if you can locate other points or not. So this is one of the most common application of the 5 Su points. The liver, you're going to go through by yourself. I'm not going to discuss again. You can just go through, try to think about the logic behind the choices. As you can see from the previous slides, I changed the category of here because your textbook make mistakes. This table is correct, so the metal, you will see the large intestine 11 is the metal. Apart from the mother and son relationship from the 5 elements, or generating and controlling relationship, 19 of the 74 questions, on the 74th questions, describe that in spring we can choose the Jing well points. In summer we can choose the Xing spring point. In late summer we can choose the Su points. In autumn we can choose the Jing river points. In winter we can choose the He sea points. So that's another application from the classic. You can choose if you want in your practice. The reason for this kind of application is according to the qi and blood flow of the body. In spring and summer, it's a yang. In spring and summer, when comparing with the autumn and winter, so that's a yang seasons, or the yang seasons, the qi and blood will flow on superficial of the body. In autumn and winter, the qi and blood also go deeper to the body. So in spring and summer, we will choose the points more superficial. In autumn and winter, we will choose the points that's deeper. That's from the Nanjing. The last one is the different time, 植物 flow. 植物 flow, we're not going to introduce here. This is also quite complicated, the 植物 flow. This treatment is only focused on the time, no matter which patient, on which diseases. But when you come to me, today at 10 o'clock, I'm going to choose those points. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, I'm going to choose the other points according to the principles of the 植物 flow. If the same patient come to me at 11 o'clock or at 1 o'clock, if the patient come to me at 1 o'clock, I may choose the other points. The reason for this theory is because of the flow of qi and blood in the meridian. They change according to the time. So if you don't remember this, you also need to go back to the basic theory as well as the acupoints and meridians. If I'm not wrong, we have introduced in the basic theory the meridian session, the introduction to the meridian. The 12 meridians, they flow, they link to each other, they flow, they have different time periods. For example, from 11 to 1 o'clock in the midnight, which organ? From 1 to 3, which meridian? So that's something you can think about. That's the theory from 植物 flow. If you're interested in this theory, you may find some references on the 植物 flow. 植物 flow, the theory is more rely on the lunar calendar. So it is not the calendar we are using today. In this video, we mainly discuss the application of the 5 Shu points. In the next video, we are going to continue to discuss the other categories. Thank you for your attention.